Take off your underwear now, sucker! If you don't know what I'm referring to, I grew up, right, with this person named Alejandro. Every single day, Alejandro would come to gym class and he would wear underwears. And it wasn't just underwears, it was tidy whities, tidy Walter whiteys. It was skivvies. These things were like, ahoy mateys! And every single gym class, I kid you not, they would get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller to the point where I'm like, I'm even surprised they get that small. And me and the 20 to 30 other guys in the locker room would complain about it day after day after day after day. We're like, yo, you gotta stop showing up to gym class like that, man. You're making the rest of us uncomfortable. We don't want to look at that. His prompt response was, well, you don't have to look if you don't want to. Well, okay, first off, if I don't want to, what is that, an invitation? So, no. Second off, I'm looking over here, and there's this thing called peripheral vision, where I can still see you over here. I can't just have a blind spot. This is not coin. I can't just go blind on my own, and I don't want to be blind, and I can't make a sensor bar with my pupils. So I could not understand what was going on in this guy's brain, when in fact, everybody else is wearing boxers, briefs. That's what everybody's wearing, and I even questioned him. I said, do you have boxers? Do you have briefs? He said, yeah. I just don't like wearing them. Well, you better start wearing them or we're just going to keep punking on you every single gym class till you decide to cave in. Guys, he never caved in. I'll be honest. We punked on him a lot. We punked on him a lot. We picked on him. And for some reason, he would not cave in. And the underwears kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller till one fateful day. It looked like he went into Magic Mike's closet and he came out with like, I don't even know what he was wearing. Guys, it looked like he stole this shit from an FBI evidence room. It was like these little tiny purple underwear. And in the front of these underwear, were two teddy bears. Not making this shit up. It was two teddy bears, like they were like cheek to cheek, like and they were like hugging each other, and it had like a heart around it. So it's two hugging teddy bears with a heart around it on a purple underwear that was so small, it looked like it went on an action figure. And I just remember being like, what is that? And once I said that, the whole entire locker room was like, what? Everybody started going crazy. People were jumping around. People started acting a fucking fool, man. People were just wilding out. People were banging on the lockers. People were throwing themselves against the wall. People were grabbing shit. Yo, people just started going crazy, yo. And once I pointed that out, yo, he did like this weird thing, like he covered himself with his shirt and his shorts. Like he was like, ooh, like it was a cartoon. You ever seen that in cartoons where like the wind blows and the characters like in white boxes with the red hearts? And he's like, oh, and you hear like the little whistle. And that's what he was acting like. And it's like, you made that conscious decision to show up in school like this. We have brought it to your attention for the past 2 to 3 months. We told you to stop wearing things that were less worse. So you go into your closet, maybe your sister's closet, and pick out one of the worst things imaginable. You need to, I could not understand it. I could not understand it. So the coach, he comes in, right? Because what happens is there's a locker room where everybody changes, but the coach has his own little room that's attached to the locker room. And he has a window. And I see him peering through the window. He opens the door. He's like, what the hell is going on in here? And Alejandro immediately, like a fucking rat, he starts snaking us all out. And he points me out that I'm the one picking on him the most. And I'm like, oh, here we go. It's like, dude, I'm not picking on you. I'm bringing this to your attention because you don't get the right to make 20 to 30 other guys uncomfortable. You don't get that right. This is our locker room. We all share this locker room. And if you're doing something that makes the rest of us uncomfortable, you need to knock that shit off or get lost. And here's what happened. The coach made him change in his little room. So like the coach is sitting there on his clipboard with Alejandro changing in front of him. Yo, the amount of, oh God, if he wasn't getting clowned on before, dog, we were just, every single day. Yo, even after school, we would talk mad trash. We'd get on Black Ops. We put our headphones. I'm like, yo, you know the coach is touching his meat bags, which meat bags is butt cheeks. That's what we used to call them when we were kids. We call them your hams or your meat bags. He's like, yo, you know the coach is touching his meat bags, yeah? And we start laughing. We play like Call of Duty Zombies. And one of the funniest ones is, I can't remember, I think it was my friend Brian. He's like, yo, you know he's giving him spine surgery. He's giving him spine surgery. He's giving him spine surgery, yo. When he said that, yo, I remember falling out of my seat. I was playing this in the living room. We were playing, like, I think it was a Kino der Toten. Yo, I fell out of my chair. I was laughing. So he gave him spine surgery. Like, whoa. He fixing his back in there. And what happened was every single day inside class, like we had art class, we would pick on him about it. Because you know what? He made it a bigger thing. It didn't have to get that big, but he wanted to make it that big. So you know what? Here's what happened. We kept picking on him about it up until he got mad at me. Specifically me. And I gotta be honest, did I start it? No. What happened was, I was just the one who said something about it, but it was what everybody was feeling. I was what the culture was feeling at the time, right? So I had to say I was the spokesperson for what the group was feeling. So he decided to out me. And he was like, Johnny, you're just nothing but you're a clown. You're a clown with stupid little antics. Yeah, that may be true. But, you're the one getting broken inside the dungeon. And when I told him he was getting broken in the dungeon, dog, a second I called that place a dungeon, it was fucking over. I ended his whole career. I remember this one kid named Manuel. This is the one part I do remember vividly. Manuel opened up his locker, he stuck his head in it, and he started screaming like, ah, ah. He was screaming with his head in the locker. People were grabbing shit and just going, yo, people were fucking acting a fool. The second I called that place a dungeon, people were acting a fucking fool, man. Yo, the coach came back outside that dungeon. Dude, he was fucking pissed. He had enough of me, and I got kicked out the locker room. This is some bullshit. I'm the one who got kicked out the locker room. Ain't that some shit? I got kicked out the locker room. So you know what I had to change? I had to change in the supplies closet. Yeah, this is true. It wasn't like a small closet, by the way. It was like, you could take that shit with you on eBay for $7.99. It's like a dual pack. About half the size of this room. And you know, I had basketballs in there. They had cones in there. It had soccer balls. And you know, like they keep all the supplies. And I had to be in there, and I started changing in there for like a week by myself. And then what happened was that they sent a girl in there because she got kicked out of her locker room. And I guess that's like the punishment. You have to change in the supplies room. And me and this girl started talking, man. And that's how we got to know each other. Which the story progresses because what happened was she had this iPod. Coolest thing ever. Like, I knew what an iPod was, but I never seen one. I held one. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever. She had Paramore on there. She had, She had Flyleaf on there. What's that? I chime in and haven't you people ever heard of? She had that on there. She had like 200 songs or something on there. And we pop in the earbud. And we were sitting there, we're listening to it, like, you know, after we were done changing. Coolest thing ever. And like 5 or 6 years later, she actually became my first girlfriend. So, yeah, there's that. And I remember every single day she always, when we were older, she had like this long hair and she had like this bang that she always put over her eye. She's one of these girls, by the way. She had this bang and it was a blue bang with this long straight hair and this one thing that would cover her eye, dog. She had this one little nose piercing and she wore these things, I don't know what you call them, but like it goes over your forearm and her thumb came through the loop. It's a little emo chick. Puerto Rican, by the way, believe it or not. Yeah, she's Puerto Rican. What? Oh, she was white. White Puerto Rican. Oh, good lord. She was so pale. Really pale. I was coming from a white-skinned Puerto Rican. She was whiter than me. Okay, very white Puerto Rican. Oh, the good lord. But she was really cool. And we did a lot of stuff together when we got older. That didn't last too long, by the way. But that's what that was. And that's some fucking bullshit that I got kicked out the fucking locker room, though. I could not believe it. So this underwear fiend, okay, dude, and you know what? He always made me uncomfortable because anytime we were in art class, he would sit across me and he would always do this. Be kicking his feet and shit. Like, yo, gotta stop that. Yo, another thing he would do, and I hated this. Anytime he'd use the bathroom, all of us are pissing. Dude, he was every single time he would always pull his underwear all the way down to the ankles. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, why do you keep doing that? And it was pissing me off, and it was pissing off the other guys. Because no one, who does that? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you pulling this all the way down to the ankles? What are you doing? And we used to get fucking furious over that shit. We used to throw stuff at him. We're like, yo, you gotta stop doing that, you weirdo, yo. Like, get the fuck out of here. Yo, we would get so mad. He'd be like, what? What? What's the problem? You're mooning the guys in here. Nobody wants to see that. And he would just like, whoop. I'm like, yo, dude. If he's in there, like, we would always open up the bathroom, like, Alejandro's in there. Yo, don't even go in there. We'll wait. We'll wait for him to come out. And he would never wash his hands either. Fucking asshole. What a fucking prick. So yeah, Alejandro, if you're watching this, fuck you. Fucking asshole. What a dickhead. Anyway. Always, yo, he knew how to make everybody uncomfortable. And before you start to, speculate on whether or not he had an issue or maybe he was a little bit sober. No. This kid was straight 90s. He was the smartest kid in the class, by the way. He was an honor roll student. Okay? He was an honor roll student. He was just a fucking weirdo. It's not like he was slower. No, he was like every single test was like a 98 or 100. He was honor roll every single day. This guy was like a valedictorian. He was all of that. So he wasn't no bonehead. He was just an asshole. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Like, favorite, share, most with a comment, and subscribe. I'm your boy Cold Raven. For Alejandro, 2 thumbs down! Peace. Yeah!